It's time to Daima, and if you're wondering what it feels like in LA right now, Goma's still having his nervous breakdown about Goku and the others' progress. I thought his plan was going to be to bring in a new fighter, but it was actually to disable the warp and keep the others stuck. This would be the first time the warp's ever been shut off. Despite those concerns, and in the most obnoxious way, Goma tasked Degasu with it. I don't know how Degasu puts up with this verbal abuse. I mean, really, what's in it for him? In retrospect, they make this brief room scene really stand out. The secluded feeling and the vibrant colors. Despite that initial suspense, it's really as simple as pulling a lever. Still, Degasu's acting deathly afraid like he's just opened, or rather closed, Pandora's box. Maybe it's the fear of the unknown, like upsetting important travelers who can no longer pass freely through. I mean, Degasu's practically shut down the Demon Realm's only airport. If there hadn't been a 2-week break, this nth plane debacle maybe would have bugged me, but I'll admit I did laugh. I mean, it's gotta be a gag, right? That's fine, especially when it is funny, but there's gotta be more ways to create conflict. Might be fun to, I don't know, have them have an aerial fight against the Gendermarie again, get thrown off course and have to explore a new planet that way. I mean, there's a lot of things to play with here. Their engine starts to fail, and it feels like this is the detour Degasu wanted, so I guess he got his wish. Despite the adrenaline and the rush of the fall, their recoup is pretty casual. Yes, Daima practically has no stakes, but they're at least being humorous with it. One aspect of this episode is it feels very mystical. The vibrant colors and detail put into the nature makes it feel like a super safari. It looks fun the way Goku got flung into the air, revealing this ancient-looking civilization. He also cracked me up just making grunts and shrieks while this is all happening, like the monkey he is getting tossed around. So after enough audience complaints, Bulma finally remembered her capsules. It's cute to watch her and Pansy gush about tech stuff. It feels like Bulma doesn't have a lot of folks to do that with. They might as well stock up on ships when they get the chance. Like Hibis's evidently stacked collection of socks. Vegeta's still impatient to get the fight going, but mortals can't pass through the warp alone. Theoretically, couldn't Shin just spruce up their ears again and send them on their way? Suddenly, Neva starts to panic, and that tone shift is quick. Was the calm before the student storm. They've arrived at the planet of Mega, fitting because everything here is supersized. The big concern is these giants called Megas. My first thought was, they may be big, but does that make them aggressive? GT has done this before with the planet of Manmasu, but I don't remember that giant being particularly menacing. However, Shin states here is the second most terrifying planet in the Demon Realm. And now I need to see the rankings. What's scarier than giants? Ghosts? A planet of moms whose calls are going unanswered? Bigger giants? It's bigger giants. Pansy asks Hibis to be a stepping stool because, maybe he's the one most likely to be into it? Over with Aranzu, she catches wind the warp's been deactivated and quickly picks up it's Goma's doing. Her catch-up call with Gloria was probably unnecessary, just a reminder that, hey, these two are in cahoots. Also, shouldn't Piccolo overhear this, but maybe he forgot he could do that too. Aranzu considers herself to already have the balls in her possession, but I feel like maybe she's getting ahead of herself. I mean, Glorio still has to wrangle the last one from the others. Bulma and Pansy are still tinkering, and Bulma's so calm in this episode. I'm so used to her being feisty that she feels so tame when she's not. The revelation joke of both the ladies using Hibis got me too. Lucky him. Pansy lets us know about Magilite, which powers nearly everything. Perhaps that could be part of Aranzu's wish. Harnessing this material with her new fighters would make her formidable. This material is abundant too, with the Demon Realm stacked up on each other like a tiered cake. The constant glow of the second world comes from the glisten of the Magilite. Makes me wonder where that light's reflecting from. With how valuable it is, you could imagine a lot of poachers after it like shark finning. That would explain the extreme punishment, which still doesn't deter Bulma from wanting to get her hands on it. What is Goku eating? Bulma will likely get her wish too, with Pansy's dad as the Magilite plug. This is why networking is important. While Goku's taking a snack break, we get our first glimpse of the giant. Its entrance blew me away. Neva goes, "It's a hamster!" And I've just never heard someone say that with such fear. It starts playing with Goku, so Vegeta suggests beating it. To me, aka killing it, starting with these cute but chaotic hamsters was a nice means to work our way up. Literally, these guys aren't particularly threatening, but their size bodes a problem. That's the theme here, really. Love how Goku ends up practically friends while Vegeta treats them like pests. Some ruckus flares up in the distance, which has Goku like, "Come back, friends!" This giant is introduced bouncing around in a youthful way. A few of them go to inspect, and that carefree pep is coming from a child. Builds up from the hamsters in a major way, instantly making you wonder what the heck an adult would look like. These behemoths are chill though. Normal life, school, taxes, all that. Gotta appreciate how Daima makes that work and get creative with the threats. Smashed from books, impaled by pencils, so on. Says a lot that the Kraken that nearly did Vegeta in is a child's lunch here. Half expected Goku to make a comment on wanting to try the fried Kraken. I'm less worried about the Krakens, but who was out there hunting them? Daima sort of stresses strength as being related to size. I see the logic, but it could also be flawed. If Vegeta can blow Planet Mega up, and the explosion kills the inhabitants. Who's stronger? We also didn't see, thankfully, any of the crew get stepped on and smushed, so we don't know if their bodies are stronger. Either way, beings of this size and skill aren't going to be an SSJ 1 or 2 solution. It's, I guess, dog, here's the others and locks on. Cracks me up how these creatures vaguely sound human. That's just a man growling. Eventually it spots Goku and goes after him, which makes me wonder what its owner thinks. Is his pet just goofing off in the grass? I'd be confused. I'm glad they didn't kill the dog just for being a dog. That would be cruel, especially for Daima. Even Vegeta uppercutting it made me wince, but for its size, that was a love tap. They aim to distract it, and it's a blend of tension and lightheartedness. This thing could roll over and destroy their only mode of transportation, but it's also such a good boy. Goku ends up on the dog like a flea, and unexpectedly we get some overgrown critters. They need some overgrown Bravecto. It gets sight of the ship's glisten and takes off. The way it dodges the blasts, okay nimble. I want to see more of this planet's unintentionally deadly creatures. Goku's all, no, I won't make it, and it's like, bro, where's your instant transmission? The answer is, it wouldn't have been as suspenseful as a perfectly timed and targeted Kamehameha. How the giant almost crushes Goku, more of that unintentional deadliness. Finally, they get their repairs finished, but weren't able to go unnoticed. I mean, this little giant is treating them the way we treat gnats. Plus, I'll always cover my neck around a ruler from here on. Goku has a klutz moment and gets lost amongst the algebra. Realizing they won't be able to leave peacefully leads to a pretty grand Super Saiyan transformation. Just one youth and some critters may not be much cause for concern, but all the strife they cause does say a lot. They all only made it out in one piece because their teamwork's evolved, and despite Goku being in opposition to Aranzu, Glorio saved him without hesitation. He could have faked not making it in time, but was glad to save one of his little buddies. So, turns out Planet Mega is supposed to be chill, and I actually buy that. Everyone there seemed to be just roughhousing or curious. We learned the #1 horror show planet is the planet of Giga. Again, the threat comes down to size, but if Giga guys are aggressive, that would increase the danger level too. The same question might pop up of, well, why aren't they going for King? If they're that large though, what would be the point? Like aiming to be the king of ants? Almost like a reward for overcoming that last challenge, they get a visual spectacle, a myriad of colors dancing in the air. Despite how deadly Daima is, there's also a lot of beauty. To me, this newfound group is sort of an example of that. After last episode, we get a fun cooldown one. My only real complaint is the repetition of the ship breaking. Still, it's interesting how Daima casually creates these power scaling messes. The gang didn't even seem interested in seeing Planet Giga. You'd think they want to fight these incredibly strong beings. Does that mean we're to think they couldn't win, like they stand no chance? I wonder if they went against the child with something like Super Saiyan Red or Blue, would that have made a difference? We did plot progress with the warp shutting off, and I wonder how they'll skirt around that. Aranzu needs the portal for the ball, so maybe she'll reopen it herself. So, barely avoiding the filler bucket, I give this one a 6 out of 10.